Hello everyone, welcome back to Tekpon. Today I'm here with Abel Aioanei from Pleo. Hello.
Hi. I'm also this is not from Pleo. I had one and I made it for my mom. You can see a nice heart.
Yeah.
But hi, Christine. Nice meeting you.
I have the bag from Saster. I love it. I love that
Yeah.
on the back it says designed in Copenhagen, gifted in Barcelona. So yeah, limited edition.
Yeah. My
Okay.
mom uses too.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Please tell us more about Pleo.
Well, I mean, we want to, and Pleo wants to change the way you do expenses in companies, right? Because at the moment, people use some old tools or you pay it out of your pocket and then you get your money back and you send your invoices or your receipts to your managers and yeah, all the hassle. So there's a lot of wasted time in that. But we came up with the product with our cards and using the cards and our app that happens in, well, we'd like to say in the blink of an eye.
Okay.
And yeah, we could go more into it, but I don't know. We see it from here.
What are the top features that you currently have that users love?
Yeah, it's like when it comes to invoices, we're good at like picking stuff from the email as well. I'm actually not sure on the name. I'm still a student working for Pleo, no worries. But Pleo is fast and you don't spend that much time, right, on going back and forth. And then we have a lot of cards we can give to your company. So imagine you being a manager in the company and then you have around, I don't know, 100 employees, out of which half of them have daily expenses. It would be so hard to track what everyone is doing, where are they doing it. And this is where our card comes in handy. And then you have the tags, you can see departments, how are they spending the money, where are the money going. You top up the wallets on each card, and then you see also you have the what's it called, the threshold that anyone can, or you switch it per user, but you have a top up and you have the specific amount that the person can have or not, and that's useful for managers. On the other hand, for example, in Germany we have the, I never knew how to pronounce it, to be honest, per diem, like per day amounts. In Germany they actually like this, and
Okay.
we've made that happening as well. Yeah. Not
Mm-hmm.
very common in the Nordics, at least not in Denmark, but in Germany that is a thing. On the other hand, Germany also loves cash, which is another
Interesting.
story.
Yeah. What differentiates you from the competitors?
I think we tend to, like, especially when it comes to SaaS and B2B, we tend to forget how important customer experience and customer support is. Like,
Okay.
that is, I would say, and I would take it very far, of course, as an outlier to say that that is, if not the most, one of the most important, not a feature, but like a need the customer has. Because we can go on and say at Pleo we have good marketing, and I think we have good marketing, and we are in a lot of European markets. We have good investors. We have the money. Probably going to talk about it later. But our customer support teams and customer experience, customer onboarding, of course, I have to say this. I'm biased, but I really think they're amazing. I mean, as a student, I remember there were some days when I asked, can I sit next to you guys? And I've been next to them. And they really know how to talk with people. I've learned stuff just being there for one day next to them. And also sometimes from our management team, people go there to sit with our customer support teams to hear, okay, let's see what the customer has to say. And we are trying to be, especially in the past year, let's be very, very, very customer centric. What is the customer liking, or maybe what is the customer not liking so much, and what is the feedback they have. So we have a lot of customer calls just to hear what are the pains, what they would like to see more, what they would like to see less. And let's be honest, maybe there are some things that our competitors have and we do not. Let's hear the customer on this one.
That's so important. Yeah, great point.
No.
Just
Yeah,
important.
that's a good lesson. I think that's a good lesson also when you develop your products based on the product you want to sell, especially when you come in with an idea like this, that like Pleo is like, or like we started Pleo I'm here just 1.5 years, but our founders started this in 2015, I think, or 2016. So there's quite something behind, but there was a pain we were trying to fix. But
Yeah.
then you have to listen to who is like experiencing this pain. They know how it is. So
Yeah.
I think that is one of the main strong points that Pleo has.
You said that you're hired as a 200 employee, something like that, and now
Yes. So
you are around
yeah.
800.
Yeah. So yeah, I joined Pleo December 2020. Quite a at least in Copenhagen back then there was still like a lockdown-ish mode. People were not going so much around. I remember the office then. So I joined in as around 230 something employee, and the office was empty, at least in Copenhagen in the headquarters. Now we're at 800 plus in the office in Copenhagen. You sit wherever you want, and if you leave, someone else will take your seat, and that's it. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
nice.
I saw that your company focuses on culture, so that's an important part. Can you tell us
Yes.
what's the Pleo culture in a few words?
Yeah. Well, it's the best. Nah, I still think it is, but like also, like I said, I joined in December 2020. We were 230. Now we are around 800. So the culture in 1.5 years, of course, it shifts and it changes. I think now for the first time, like the new people that are in are more, I think it's the majority now. And we've hired for the past 6 or 7 months on average around 30, 40 or 50 people a month.
Wow.
Imagine like culturally what a shift and also what a challenge is. However, like we always and like put an emphasis on like being human and what it is to be human. Sometimes there's some days when you just feel off, you just cannot work. I remember in my stand-up with our team, with my team, we started by saying, is there anything top of mind? Maybe, I don't know, I don't feel that well. Maybe my mother is sick, or how, on a scale from 1 to 10, how do you feel now? So we're really trying to put in the humanness in there to like, okay, we have to work. This is a company. We're working for a product and we're trying to make it better. However, we are still normal human beings that have problems at home, kids, and I don't know. It's not fun every day.
Yeah.
And that is very much a good point. And like I said, like my manager is my friend, first of all, and then he gave me a lot of advice, even like life advice, career advice. So I feel like it sounds so cliche, but there is some sort of a family in there you have, and then you can really work it out well, and you can work well. This one that I really like this part, and also the part of entrepreneurship. If you have an idea in Pleo, of course, related to the product, but also to the culture to make Pleo a better place or Pleo a better product for the customer, come in, say it out loud, and let's see what we can do. And yeah, that's a something that I've liked. Like I had some sort of idea at some point, and then my manager goes, well, let's see what we can do. I came in with a sort of a rough idea and some, like, I don't know, I already did 25% of the idea, not to waste too much time, but also to show that I've done something. It's not just an idea that came to my mind when I was showering. So yeah. And he was, let's do this. Let's make it happen. There are good points in there. Let's see. Maybe he gave me some feedback as well. And in every team, from product to customer support to our team to marketing, we have good entrepreneurship culture. For example, just like when you see our marketing and the people there, some of the people are either ex-Pleoers or actual Pleoers at the moment. They're not just some characters made up. So yeah, those people actually were real people.
That's absolutely lovely. Yeah, great culture. I love it.
Yeah.
Does Pleo have a free version?
Yes, we have a free version as well. Depends on the country. Now we're launching quite some countries, and we've been launching quite a few countries in the past months. Okay. More to come. But yeah, there is a free version, and that can be seen on the website. And depends on the company, depends on the size, how you negotiate it. That's definitely possible.
Okay, and now let's talk a bit about the company. Do you know how much you've raised in the last round?
Yes, the last round was $250 million, and we are so happy we got that. good investors. Also, they can be seen on our page. And even us as employees, and this is something I really value and leaning a bit to the culture as well. We had a fireside chat with our investors. So we feel we're close to them. It's not they're somewhere far away. And our investors, of course, not everyone, they're close to us. We can ask them questions, and we have all hands monthly, in which it's not like we talk with our investors every month, but we know what they're doing, what are the plans, and we talk with we call it lighthouse, with our C-level, to see where is the company going, what are the pains, what are the challenges, also looking at the market at the moment. So yeah, back to the question, we raised 350 million, and yeah, that's a very good money to have, especially in times like this, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest challenge for you in the company?
Yeah, I remember. So before Pleo, I was working in a bar. I was doing everything from bartender to like coffee to washing, everything. And so even though I have a bachelor in computer science as well and a background, and I was studying business, I come into Pleo, and for the first 2 or 3 months, literally, and also my manager was not expecting something else. He told me this. I was just reading Slack, old messages, a lot of Slack, and I was reading everything I could in Notion and in Docs and in documents. And a very important lesson I've learned, and that's why I've been in the office, I was talking with a lot of people to understand the product, to understand the culture, to understand the teams. Because let's be honest, when you're 230 people, and back then it was some months since we had our Series B back then. There's a lot of knowledge that, let's be honest, is not documented. So you're just going to get to hear it at a coffee talk, at the coffee counter, at the coffee machine, or at lunch.
Yeah.
And I was talking with a lot of people, asking a lot of questions, and also asking a lot of stupid questions. But that's how I've learned.
It's part of the process.
Yeah. So, but it took me around 3 months to understand what is happening around, reading, being in meetings, asking people, can I attend this meeting? I'm just going to take some notes and I just want to listen. Yeah, come on. And then, yeah, so getting to know the information, where it is, where I should look for it, who I should ask. This was the main one. And then 3 more months to understand, okay, this is my role. And I was starting in revenue operations. And even like me figuring out my role, even as a student, and also our team, defining our role as a team for the Pleo was a challenge. So it took me around 6 months to get full on and then just give it on and work.
But it was a fun process, right?
Yeah, that
when
was
you look back at
very fun. Yes, now I'm sure I could do it a lot faster because I know where were the things. But a good lesson, and very fun. And when you're surrounded with good friends and nice people, that's always nice and fun.
Can you share with us your background story? How you got, I don't know, a teenager from Romania, got to work to Pleo? How did that work out?
Oh, that's quite a story. I'm gonna keep it short. I know at some point I wanted to have a pitch on this one. So yeah, after high school, in high school I was for a week in the Netherlands, and I'm from a small village 30 kilometers away from Timișoara. That week in the Netherlands showed me that the world is a lot bigger than my village in Timișoara. And then I started dreaming a lot, and I went applying to study in South Korea, computer science, but it was a South Korean government scholarship. I couldn't get it because the Romanian government did something. I kind of got mad. Ended up studying computer science in Romania, in Timișoara, for 2 years. And I was like, okay, this is not for me. As a ticket out, I took an Erasmus year in northern Spain, the middle of nowhere. No one knows that city. No one was speaking any English nor Spanish. But there I lived with Italians, and I've learned Italian and Spanish. And then I realized, okay, the world is a lot bigger. And I had a friend studying in Denmark. I had this program that was very interesting and all the paperwork done. I applied and I got in, and then I started working. I started studying in Copenhagen in 2019 fall. And then after 6 months, I realized, okay, different culture. I started volunteering. I started realizing that you have to volunteer in order to get experience and get to know the culture and then how things are done. Then Corona came, I came back for what I thought to be 2 weeks, ended up being 5 or almost 6 months back in the village. However, that was a good wake-up call for me because I was very much, oh, I'm not going back to Romania. That's it. I'm done with that country. But then in those 5 months in the village, I realized that the problem was with me. I was a bit arrogant. I got rid of that now. I'm very happy, but it took me a while. And I came back to Denmark. I came back to Denmark just volunteering. But then, I mean, no job. I was working in the cafe industry, and like the retail was just down. So I was just volunteering, networking, applying for jobs, and doing this so and so. I got into Pleo in December 2020.
What was the most important part when they hired you? Why did they decide to do it? Because you had little to no experience.
I think
you're young. You're from another country. Let's say we can find the excuses.
If my manager hears this now, if Jeppe hears this now, Jeppe Steinbeck is my manager, not Jeppe the CEO. But I think now I can disclose this. I remember coming at the office. It was a Friday. So I had the interview with Pleo from 1 to 2. And then, but the day before, I had an interview with another company, the second interview, like the series, like the kind of a series one. And that was a Thursday. And then after 3 hours, those guys called me and they were like, Abel, are you in? And I was, I really want to work for Pleo. And I told them, the other company, I told them, can I call you tomorrow at 3 o'clock? So the interview with Pleo was from 1 to 2, 1 buffer hour. I go there, I have the interview with Pleo. And then in the last 15 minutes of the interview, I was very honest. I said, this is not negotiating, hacking, anything. I have a yes from another company, but I really like Pleo. I like the product. I see myself here in the medium to long term. And I know this is a student position. There are some things that no one wants to do. I have to do them. I worked in the bar. I know what those things are. So I'm very much open to work. He was like, that manager at the time, he was like, yeah, okay, good. Good, you told us. And my actual manager at the moment, he called me at 2:53. I was on the streets talking with my dad on the phone, and then I see someone from Pleo is calling me at 2:53, and he said, Abel, you're in. You can call the other guys and tell them that you're not working for them. And that's how I got into Pleo.
Incredible story.
I was so happy. That was such an intense day. Yeah, that was such an intense day, I have to say. Yeah. But like, I'm very happy I did it the way I did it. And it showed me a lot of the culture. I was very open and I told everything I had, and they felt this. And actually, I've asked my manager like a couple of weeks ago, why did you get me and not some others? Because definitely some others applied. And he was like, we knew that we are not hiring skills, but we were hiring a mindsets. And then I told him I worked in the bar and I'm going to do what I have to do. And he was like, yeah.
Incredible. So you weren't afraid of hard work and you had a great mentality.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I hope.
Wow.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
Yeah. I love this thinking. I don't know.
Yeah.
How did you develop your mentality? What do you think was the most important factor to you growing like this?
Yeah, I think it's also back to those 5 months in the village. I mean, I'm from a village. I've been like, my family had cows. We had cows. I worked in the stable with like, smelling like cow shit, if I can say. Yeah. And that was like, I knew how to work, but then I was this sort of like Romania hater. And then I went out and I was still dreaming I'm going to do something big in life. And I really wanted to do something about Romania, but I was understood like, if I really want to change something about Romania, first of all, I have to go look in the mirror, change myself, and then I can do stuff. And those 5 months in Romania really helped me realize this. And like, there were some humbling months. And then what came after those months in Denmark, because I had no job. Literally, when I got the Pleo job, I had money for 2 more weeks in my bank account.
Wow.
But before I got the job at Pleo, I realized that I had to stick to 3 things because not that much money, no job, and I was still in Denmark, lockdown. I was like, Abel, you have to study. That's it. School is cool. Then volunteer, get into organizations because you understand the culture, and then you talk with a lot of people and you start making a network in Copenhagen. And the third always listen, be the one listening. You're not the one that's going to show off, and you don't have much to actually show, right? But
Yes.
when you listen, you learn a lot.
Absolutely.
And I still think I have to get better at listening, but these are the things that help me a lot. And I think this is how I got here. And always grow, learn, and that's how we're going to make the world a better place, I guess.
And can you talk about volunteering? I don't know, personally, before talking to you, I didn't see volunteering as I don't know, appreciated by the managers, by the HR teams. But you said that's different. So let's talk about it. Let's debate.
And in at least in Denmark, like you have companies, you have universities, you have students. So there's an interesting triangle. And then how are students going to get experience? They have to do something. So students, at least at a business school, students start clubs or some sort of organizations, because the university gives you some money as well, but they also give you the facilities like big meeting rooms and maybe sometimes even some microphones and so you can play with those things. But then at some point students started coming up with like understanding that these companies need people to work with, and they need to hire people. Let's make some student organizations that are going to facilitate this and filter out some of the students and make, for example, hiring events. And then those companies were like interested because the students were adding value.
Yeah.
And then the companies got interested in these student organizations, and they started paying money to the student organizations.
Okay.
There are some student organizations in Copenhagen that get insane amount of money, with which, of course, they invest in the brand of the organization, but also in them having fun, let's be honest. But they facilitate companies getting good students, which are filtered out. So the HR and the human resources at the companies, they don't have to put that much work into finding the people because they're in the organizations.
Okay.
So you have a network of organizations, companies, university, and everyone does this because volunteering actually gets you to get the job. And then you meet like-minded people. Then you meet you already meet the companies. So you get to understand what is the jargon of the company, what they do, how do they do it. And that's why volunteering is quite at the core, I would say, if you want to get a good job and so, because you already are into the network, you exercise the way you talk, how you approach people, how you, to some extent, sell yourself or what you do. And you also understand there are so many things you have to learn more. So this is why volunteering is a lot bigger thing than that.
So it's all in a system, right? It's all connected.
Yeah, it's very much connected in a system. And I mean, I never thought networking was, I don't know, I always thought, oh, networking is everything. What a cliche thing to say. Now I kind of say, if it's not everything, it's more or less close to that, because you understand, you can triangulate the information you get, or you can calibrate some of your thoughts and what you want to do or what you don't want to do. And you have someone to ask, well, I want to do this. What would be your advice? Exactly. And then if you listen, you're definitely learning stuff.
What's your opinion on the business side in Denmark? I mean, the business ecosystem.
Yeah, I have a lot of things to say about that, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Copenhagen is quite at a good point right now. There's a lot of money being poured in. There's a lot of VC funds. There's a lot of private equity funds, and there's a unicorn and tech companies like fintech is booming in there. Then you have the examples like Pleo or like Lunar. They got so much money. However, it's starting to get to a sort of not a halt, but talent is so much needed in there. And now remote work has helped Denmark a lot, because you can get talented people from everywhere to work for the products. However, sometimes you need them to be there close. It helps that Copenhagen is a bit more continental. However, Copenhagen is small. It's just with the metro area, I think there's 1 million or maybe 1.5, but it's small. So it's you cannot compare it to London, you cannot compare it to Berlin. So business environment is very much network based, sort of closed to some extent, because there are not that many like people coming from outside injecting ideas and so, because it's Copenhagen, it's small, and maybe to some extent it's still way too Danish. It's getting a lot more international at the moment, and I feel this is the trend, but it needs this. So yeah, that's a bit of a difficult idea, because like, and also like maybe, I don't know, taxes, right? If you can go to work in Lisbon, why would you go to work in Copenhagen now, where you have to pay a lot of taxes? On the other hand, the Lisbon example, all the Portugal example and experiments, another discussion, which is hard to, it's not easy to say then Denmark did it the best or Portugal did it the best. So business in Copenhagen, it's easy, you do it fast. However, talent, you need talent and ambition, and people would strive to make this happen, which there are, and more coming because of these big companies and people going out of the big companies and starting their own things. Also, we have a lot of money in private equity funds, but there's still a need for talent and people to come in.
And how do you think they can solve that issue? I know, can they do it by hiring internationally and remote work?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely, I mean, they started doing this because there are just not enough people, so they need more. And this is definitely one of the main points. Maybe from I don't know much, but I was thinking about this a lot lately from a regulatory point of view. For example, in Romania is a good, when it comes to fintech, Romania is a good sandboxing environment. You can try whatever, because maybe even though we have law, maybe it's not that well enforced, so you can try on a lot of things. If you mess up, you mess up, and that's it. In Denmark, you really have to comply. There's specific laws, there's clear processes, and you go in, you do it the way it should be done. And this is good. However, let's be honest, this also kills innovation.
Yes.
And it's a very good question, like regulation, innovation, how do we handle this? It's always going to be a good question, especially in Europe. But yet in the internationals, I think that's a good idea and always help, because they come in with a new, like a lot of ideas. Diversity, you need people with diverse backgrounds. I'm very lucky at Pleo. We are so diverse, people from everywhere. But in another idea, I don't know if you, and probably they are already, this sort of sandboxing, I don't know, little places in Denmark, you could have to try a lot of things. And for people to say, I want to try something in fintech, that is not so, I don't know, it's not so common. Denmark is a good place. I want to go there. I'm going to do that there. And then that's going to spring out a lot of innovation, spill out effects, people being there, and it's going to attract talent. This would be but I'm not that well educated in this area. So
what's your most important advice for someone who wants to get started in fintech? I don't know, wants to get a job in fintech or wants to start a startup?
Yeah, no, that good one. Actually, I just came from there was a festival in Oradea Unchained, and I've met a lot of like fintech founders, but a lot of the big fintech things, like fintech like companies. There was Visa, there was like some other companies.
Nice.
It's, when it comes to it, first of all, try to solve a real world problem. Because if you're not going to do that, like you're not going to have clients, you're not going to have customers, and you're not probably going to have investors. I'm not talking about product market fit now. Don't come with some sort of idea that you got into a dream, which is still nice. I'm not saying, but if you want to get to some revenue and some product market fit, and then for you to get some investors in, try to fix a real world problem. If you come in with a new idea, if it happens to be, and that's general, if it happens to be fintech, yeah, let's be honest, let's look at the fintech points in Europe. Romania is still not one, however, good sandboxing environment. And now there's a network. There's Romanian Fintech Association. There's now this festival that was the first edition, very good. Probably the second one is going to be even better and bigger. So there starts already to be a network of people who are interested and who are doing things in this. And if you still are not sure if you have an idea or not about fintech, get into a fintech. There's so much like workforce needed into fintech. Start working in a fintech, be there for a few years, and then you're going to realize problems and pains fintech have. And then if you're smart enough, you come up with a solution, and definitely that's going to be the way in. At least one. At least
Yeah.
one of the ways. And
Yeah, that's great. Do you have anything else to share with us, to share with the audience?
yeah, it's, I don't know. Maybe I'm like I said in the beginning, I was some sort of a big hater of Romania, and so then I realized, okay, it's my problem. I have to fix it. And like I was yesterday at Unchained Festival. There's something in Romania I really like, and when I go to Bucharest, even though that city is a big mess, you feel very alive, but probably for the last time. So that's always what happens for me when I go there. I love the drive we have in Romania, and we wanna change stuff. And there are so many things we have to fix about the country. However, maybe sometimes we are in a rush just for the sake of being in a rush, which doesn't help us much. So if we get better at listening around, also Bulgaria has some good examples. Poland has some good examples at the moment, and our neighbors, also from the West. Let's get good ideas from wherever we can. Give them a sort of pinch of Romanian salt. We have to adapt the ideas to our realities and market, and then definitely good things are going to happen. Because I see a lot of like people driven and people with a lot of energy who really want to do something about this country. And of course, we've talked for 30 years about making it better. Maybe our generation, we are not that much infected with the old mindset, which I'm not saying it's bad. There are definitely some good points in there. But I want to say that we definitely have something that not a lot of people have, the drive. And in some countries, as much as someone wouldn't expect, some countries are not as driven as we are. And I can see that Romanians are really driven. If we just put this like driveness into like good focus place, I'm sure we're going to do amazing stuff. So work and be focused, and let's learn and listen and apply it here. And there's definitely good stuff coming.
Yeah. And one last question. Can you tell us more about your association, about your own club, if I can call it?
Yeah, it's a name we've been trying to change as well at some point, but like it's stick like this. It's called I guess you mean Copenhagen Management Consulting Club.
Yeah.
So as we were talking about volunteering, like 10 years ago, actually, we had our anniversary of 10 years this year, a few months ago. We connect like the big consultancies, but not only the big, also the niche consultancies in Copenhagen with students interested in going into consulting area. And what we do in there is that we organize the events, sometimes even academies, sometimes even workshops or just networking events for the students to get to know the potential employers and the potential industry they might be interested in working in. Copenhagen like has the business, like Copenhagen Business School. Let's be honest, thousands of consultants will be born of that place, and someone has to put them in contact with the companies, and we are there to help them do this. And that's what we've been doing for the past 10 years, and we're going to do more from now on. I would love to see this in Romania as well, maybe at some point. But now, like, we are all booked for example, for the next semester with some big names.
Nice.
All booked. All booked, and some cool events happening and coming for the coming months. That's in short who we are there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Abel. It was a great
Thank
pleasure.
you,
I
Same
wish you all
here.
the best. And
You too. And yeah, again, thank you for inviting me. And it's not like many people, oh, you were left in Denmark. I feel so much closer to home than I've ever been. I'm in the village with my parents around, and so good food and nice sleep in the village. But good stuff. I think it's gonna come, and it's nice rolling this. So thank you again for inviting me and letting me do this with you.
Thank you. I'm grateful. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, same here. Cheers.